So you want to be a YouTuber in 2023. I think that's a great thing, but I understand the feeling of having this incredible passion to spread the message that you feel like you've been giving, but you've got your doubts. Maybe you're camera shy and you're just kind of worried about how you're gonna come across. Maybe you're worried about trolls that are gonna be online because, trust me, there's gonna be trolls. Maybe it's the fear that as a YouTuber, you are going to need gear and you don't know how to use the gear yet, or you don't know how you're gonna afford the gear, or maybe it's that one thing that all of us have struggled with at one time or another, imposter syndrome. So I've had every single one of those fears and those feelings, but I can teach you how to overcome those. Make sure you're sticking around to the end of the video because I have a single tip that could help you with all of this. So to get started with today's video, we are gonna talk about some of the myths that I've heard people say when it comes to starting a YouTube channel in 2023. And the first myth is this, that people are gonna make fun of you because you wanna be a content creator. I totally understand that feeling. I was really scared of the exact same thing when I started my YouTube channel, but here's what I very quickly realized. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you are doing. Everybody is working with that spotlight effect in their own lives. They think that everybody's thinking about them and you think that everybody's thinking about you, but the reality is everybody's just thinking about themselves. And in the end, if these people are actually gonna make fun of you because you want to be a cultivator of something, then who cares? Those aren't really your friends anyways. And when thinking about that spotlight effect, I came across this Alex Hormozi tweet. Actually, I'll put it right here in the corner, but he talks about the Queen of England and how she died about 5 months ago and she had ruled so much of the world. She had more wealth than 99.9% of people, and yet you and I have not thought about her since the day after she passed away. Which I know for some of us sounds really bleak and really sad, but that's such a freeing reality that we don't need to be the end-all be-all of people's entertainment or their attention. Which again is really freeing because even if you do make a fool of yourself, nobody's gonna remember, and so ultimately nobody's really gonna care. So even if you're just terrible at making content, it doesn't matter, but here's the thing. You have to start. I remember talking to my son and he would get so angry when he wasn't good at baseball. It was just kind of earlier when he was like 4 years old. I'd throw the ball to him, he'd swing and he'd miss it and he'd get so angry. And I was like, bud, why are you angry? You've literally never done this in your life. You don't need to be good at it yet. You just need to start. And that's the truth with you. So who cares if people make fun of you? The next thing is this, that you don't have the money to afford the gear to start a YouTube channel. Here's the good news. In your pocket, everybody has one of these things. And I have friends who have literally monetized channels just with their cell phones. Honestly, this is one of the best things about YouTube. People don't care. Now, I have a huge heart for good quality content with good quality gear, but ultimately, man, people don't care. And if you're like me and you love good gear, like that stuff will come in time as you make money doing other things, but for right now, if you just want to get started, you don't need to get all the gear. You don't even need to learn how to edit. You can just do like my friend Dean Lentini does. He just does a live stream and it's wonderful. I know Ruslan does a lot of those things. It's just a cool time to be alive, a cool time to be on YouTube because you don't need to be a professional editor, a professional videographer. You can just be you. The next myth is this, that you don't know what you're gonna be talking about. And that's okay, right? Like you are starting something brand new and you don't know what niche is gonna work. You don't know exactly what you wanna be speaking on because look, you have to do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of video on this topic. So you better be darn well sure this is the avenue you wanna walk in, but there's no way to get there without doing a lot of videos. I remember one time I was texting back and forth with this great guy. His name's Ruslan. He's an awesome YouTuber. Check his channel out. But we were talking about the possibility of, I was asking really of can we do a collab? And he was like, look, man, and he's obviously, I'm just such an idiot that I thought that was a possibility. But he gave me this really great advice, which was, look, man, for the first year, you don't know what you want to talk about just yet. You're going to make shifts. You're going to make changes in your channel, and that's okay. But before you get too far along, maybe try out some different types of material. So if you don't know what you're gonna talk about, totally fine. You'll figure it out in time. And the biggest myth of them all is the feeling of being an imposter, that people are gonna look at you and say, they don't deserve to be talking about that. To be a YouTuber, you don't have to be the expert in any field. I do think it's important to kind of, if you're trying to figure out what you're gonna talk about, to make sure you have the most expertise of any of your other things in that area, but you don't have to be the #1 theologian. You don't have to be the #1 person in apologetics. You just have to be a few steps ahead of the average person. It's such a weird elitist thing in our society that we think that only the top person in a field has something we can learn from, right? As people who are created in the image of God, we know that every single person, no matter how high or how lowly, we can learn something from them. And so who cares if you're not the #1 top professor in the world on a subject? You are a person on a journey and you just want to share your experience along the way. All right, so now let's get into the reason why you should start a YouTube channel in 2023. But before we do, if you're getting value out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button for me. The first reason you should start a channel is that there is an urgency to the gospel. Now, I know this video is helpful for anybody who wants to start a YouTube channel, but I'm specifically speaking to Christian creators. There is a real need for the gospel message to be spread out into the world, and we live in such an unfathomably huge opportunity of a time as to live when the internet exists. Like, think about how excited people were when the Gutenberg press was made and when you could get all your knowledge into books and you could spread it at a faster pace than ever because you didn't have to travel down into this town. Well, now we don't have to travel at all. And so the fact that there's a dying world out there that needs to hear the message of Christ, and we have this awesome gift of the internet, means that if you have a desire and a passion to spread the gospel, you need to take that and run with that urgent need. The second reason you should start a channel is you can gain skills that will actually make you real life money. For me, I'm a full-time pastor, and also because of the skills I built on YouTube, I started a creative marketing agency. And with that agency, I make the same amount of money that I do as a pastor. And that is absolutely crazy that all of those things happened because I started a YouTube channel 2 years ago. Think of it this way. Every single business on earth right now is learning that they need to advertise their stuff through video. Pictures are great and copywriting, that's great too, but it's just nothing compared to the spread that you get with a video. So if you learn how to film and you learn how to edit and you learn how to kind of make things engaging in a video, that's a marketable skill that you can go to any business in your city and say, hey, I have this offer. And so for me, much like Paul when he built his tents, for me, it's creative marketing and figuring out how to help businesses get their vision out into the world. The next reason that you should become a YouTuber in 2023 is you were built to be a cultivator and a creator. Listen, you were built in the image of an almighty creator God. This morning I'm reading John 1, and all things are created through Christ. We were built in that same image to be people who are creators, and now entertainment and distraction is at an all-time high. What's better then instead of doing that and those distracting things is to actually make something? Like, if you think about it, you have hours in your day where you're just sitting around watching a TV. Why not, instead of doing that, should you not just create something? And at the end of creating something, you feel so much better than watching the whole first season of Last of Us, which, by the way, I'm really looking forward to seeing. So there is an enormous need for content creators who are Christians on the YouTube platform. I mean, with 122 million people a day, that is an absolutely wild number to think about. And you waited this long for the bonus tip, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. It's this, that as human beings, we are the happiest when we are being productive. And if you wanna learn more about what it looks like to be as productive as you can be in your life, go ahead and watch this video right here. See you all in the next one.